I did want to make sure I ask you about promotion in social media because you're obviously a Twitter Jedi. I think you've got just under 50,000 followers. So, what advice do you have for writers that want to build their online platform to be as successful as you are?
I guess the best way to put it is be yourself unless you're a dick.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better way to put it than that. I mean, no one wants to interact with a robot, with a bot. So if you're just there like shilling your books all the time, it's boring and nobody cares, But if you're there being a human and you're dealing with people on a human level, then I think that's kind of how it works. That's what people are there to do, is just be human with each other. I mean, as much as that sounds backwards somehow, because it is social media and it's in a way the least human interaction that you could have, it is also very human. And the times that it works best are when humanity jumps out. And so I think as a writer, all you can do is just be real. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that you have to tell people what you ate for breakfast, which is like famously what old people think we do all day, I think, on Twitter. Because I always hear like elders be like, nobody needs to know what I ate for breakfast, and I'm like, that's true. So don't tell anybody.
We agree. Let's move on.
Exactly. Like we all agree, right? Every writer and every social media participant has to decide where their comfort zone is, and that's an ongoing conversation, and that's difficult. But the important thing is you're having it with yourself, and you're trying to figure that out, and that you're not just being like just sort of regurgitating talking points. Like just it's not gonna fly. I don't think. I think it's like just be honest and react to things the way you react, and have conversations with people and interact, and take advantage of the fact that it's a way to be around people without all the social anxiety of being around people, which can really allow you to flourish in ways that you maybe couldn't at a regular party.
So, how much of your time? Because you're one of those writers where we're. I think you're a couple of months younger than I am. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, he's got 3 books coming out this year. No, I'm sorry, two books coming out this year plus one in January, close enough. And then you've got revisions back on 2 projects you're working on now. You're getting ready to go off on the top secret Star Wars project that may or may not be set in space. How do you find time to also maintain a lively Twitter profile? Because I'll read genuinely hilarious tweets from you sometimes 10, 15 times a day.
I guess it's not something I think of as like taking a whole lot of time. Like it's literally like, I hate that just happened. I hate that just happened. Like that was not even 10 seconds. Like I look at it as like, I find Twitter can be relaxing, if you've culled your timeline correctly and if you are in that kind of a mood, it can be very relaxing. So, and I love shows, but I don't like watch a lot of like TV. So a lot of times when I'm done with something, I'll just kind of like end up pulling up Twitter and then messing around with people on Twitter. And that's kind of just sort of what I do for fun sometimes. It's not always fun. And when it's not, I try to really check out and not be on there. Because life is too short to not have fun, right? So it's really about balancing and checking in. But I just don't think of it as like something on my to-do list. It's just something that if I haven't thought about something, I'll post it.
Another question about just discourse online, because I do see you talking about politics pretty openly. And I wonder, what's the secret to that, to not dividing your audience and not incurring hate? Because I don't see people tweeting back at you, we hate you because you said that. Maybe that happens and I just missed it. So how do you walk that tightrope between ticking off some potential readers and saying what you honestly want to say and not being complicit in whatever the mainstream narrative is?
You don't. You can't. I absolutely have people hating on me in my mentions. Not nearly as much as most women do, and particularly Black women. I'm not targeted in the same way, but I absolutely get hate, for my opinions. I also think, like, to some extent, people kind of know what they're in for with me, so it's, I'm not usually like surprising people who follow me. They either know and they disagree, and so they just keep it to themselves, or I muted them or something, and I don't know, or or we have an intelligent conversation. I say I muted them because when people are jerks in my mentions, I mute them. But I actually really love a debate or an argument, like a good one. Not necessarily on Twitter, but I do love having a really a good, smart conversation with folks. I don't need people to agree with me, and I don't think most people need everyone to agree with them. I don't believe in being silent for the benefit of my career, particularly in an age like this. And I don't just mean the Trump era, because I've been loud since long before Trump came along. I really mean like the American Empire era, I guess. I think it's important to speak out, because I think things are really bad for a lot of people, and I think if you have a platform, um, that's an opportunity to make them less bad on some level. And so it doesn't make any sense to me to try to like live a life or maintain a career where I'm trying to please people who are cool with other people being in misery for their benefit. If that's something you're cool with, you're not gonna like my books, probably, and so you're just not my readership. You can't please everybody, and I think if you try, you end up with really mediocre work for the most part, because you're just kind of gonna walk a certain very mediocre line, and that is the path that some writers decide to take, and that's their choice. I don't even. It sounds like I'm judging them. It's just I know it's not my path. It's not what I'm here to do. Um, and I'm sure there are books that aren't mediocre that make a lot of different people happy. Um, I just think that it's a recipe. There's a very high chance of just writing some kind of like very milk toast, neither here nor there type work if you're just trying to please people. I do try to please people, but I'm also very clear about who I'm trying to please, and that's not bigots.
Fair enough. Just get out there, be authentic, and say what you came here to say. And
Yeah, and like we make mistakes. Like I don't think and I think that is hard because people do like to pile on, and it's a complicated and cold world. But also we learn a lot, and I think if we're listening and we're paying attention, we have an opportunity to really learn from what's happening out in those Twitter streets.